The history books tend to focus on battles, generals and sweeping strategies, but what often gets overlooked is how ordinary civilians survived on the home front. During World War II, especially in occupied regions and rural communities, people had to defend their homes with limited tools, little warning and no formal training. They relied on ingenuity, subtle deterrents and low-tech traps that were effective precisely because they were simple and unexpected. These weren't elaborate military devices. They were practical, improvised solutions designed to slow intruders, alert occupants and protect what little people had left. Today, many of these ideas still hold value, not as weapons, but as layered security measures that can enhance awareness and control around your home. Understanding these forgotten methods gives you a deeper appreciation of wartime resilience and offers surprisingly relevant lessons for modern home defense. Early warning systems were the first line of defense in civilian homes. Before anything else, World War II households prioritized awareness. In many occupied areas, people created makeshift alarm systems using nothing more than string, metal scraps, and everyday objects. A common method involved stretching thin wire or thread across entry points, attached to tin cans, glass shards, or small bells. When disturbed, the noise would immediately alert occupants, even in complete darkness. This concept remains highly practical today. You can replicate a modern version by placing subtle motion-based alerts or even simple noise traps near vulnerable entry points like back gates or storage sheds. The key principle is not to stop an intruder instantly, but to remove their advantage of surprise. Even something as basic as a gravel path outside a window can act as a natural alarm system, forcing noise with every step. Tripwire concepts slowed movement and created confusion rather than harm. Contrary to popular belief, most civilian traps during World War II were not designed to injure. They were meant to delay and disorient. Tripwires placed at ankle height in low visibility areas, such as gardens, alleyways, or entry corridors, could cause intruders to stumble, lose balance, or make noise. This bought precious seconds for the homeowner to react or escape. In a modern setting, the idea translates into controlled obstacles rather than hidden hazards. Rearranging outdoor spaces to include deliberate uneven terrain or strategic barriers can make unauthorized movement more difficult. For example, placing low decorative borders or planters along common approach. Paths forces anyone entering to slow down and pay attention, reducing the likelihood of silent intrusion. Light manipulation was used as a psychological and tactical tool. During blackout periods in World War II, people became extremely sensitive to light and shadow. Some households used sudden light exposure as a defensive tactic. A dark space would suddenly be illuminated, disorienting anyone entering and instantly exposing them. This wasn't just about visibility, it was about psychological shock. Today, motion-activated lighting serves the same purpose, but with greater efficiency. Installing lights that trigger unexpectedly can startle intruders and signal that a property is actively monitored. Positioning is crucial. Lights should not just illuminate pathways, but also create contrast, making it difficult for someone to remain unseen while moving through your space. Noise traps reinforce the perception of occupancy and vigilance. Another overlooked tactic was the deliberate creation of noise beyond simple alarms. Some households during the Second World War, rigged doors or windows so that opening them would produce exaggerated sounds, creaks, rattles, or falling objects. The goal was to make any intrusion loud and unmistakable, reinforcing the idea that the home was occupied and alert. You can actually apply this principle by ensuring that entry points are not, silent. A well-placed chime, a slightly loose gate latch, or even layered locking mechanisms that require several steps can increase noise during unauthorized access. The psychological effect is powerful. Intruders, after all, prefer quiet, quick entry. Anything that disrupts that expectation can deter them entirely. Layered defenses were more effective than any single measure. One of the most important lessons from the Second World War home defense is that no single trap was relied upon. Instead, people combined multiple simple methods to create layers of security. An intruder might first trigger a noise trap, then encounter a trip obstacle, and finally be exposed by light. Each layer increased the chances of detection and reduced the likelihood of success. Modern home security often focuses too heavily on one solution, like cameras or locks. The wartime approach reminds us that layering is far more effective. Combining visibility, noise, physical barriers, and awareness creates a system where each element supports the others. Even low-cost additions can significantly strengthen overall security when used together. Deception played a subtle but powerful role in deterrence. In uncertain times, civilians also used deception to protect themselves. Some homes were made to appear occupied even when they weren't, using timed lights, arranged objects, or signs of activity. Others created the illusion of stronger defenses than actually existed, discouraging potential intruders from taking the risk. This principle is still widely used today. Simple steps like leaving a radio playing, using timers for lights, or maintaining visible signs of activity can make a property less appealing to anyone scouting for easy targets. The goal is not to create fear, but to increase uncertainty for anyone considering intrusion. Practical application shows these ideas are still relevant today. Take a typical modern home with a backyard entry point. By applying Second World War-inspired strategies, you could start with a gravel path leading to the gate, ensuring any approach creates noise. Add a motion-activated light that triggers as soon as someone steps inside. Place subtle obstacles like planters or edging along the path to slow movement. Finally, ensure the gate or door produces noticeable sound when opened. None of these measures are extreme, yet together they create a layered defense that mirrors the effectiveness of wartime improvisation. These methods don't rely on advanced technology or expensive systems. They rely on understanding human behavior, how people move, react, and make decisions under pressure. That's what made them effective then, and it's why they still work now. Second World War civilians didn't have the luxury of sophisticated security systems, but they understood something fundamental. Awareness, delay, and deterrence are the core of any effective defense. By revisiting these overlooked techniques, you're not just learning history. You're applying proven strategies that have stood the test of time. If you found this breakdown valuable and want more deep dives into forgotten wartime tactics and practical survival knowledge, make sure to subscribe to the channel and share this with someone who appreciates real history beyond the textbooks.